What is up, beautiful people? We have some huge news coming for the Texas Chain Saw Massacre. The new DLC and the huge patch with over 250 fixes is coming this November the 28th. So it's important that if you want to know what's going on with this huge update, what to expect, watch till the end of this video. We have some really interesting changes coming to the Texas Chain Saw Massacre. So make sure to subscribe with notifications set to all so you don't miss out on future horror and TCM videos here on the channel. So recently, Matt and Sid from Done had a community check-in live stream where they dropped some very interesting changes coming to the Texas Chain Saw Massacre. Now remember, this huge patch and DLC content is going to have over 250 changes. There's a lot here for us to dive into, and I highlighted some of the more important ones. The first one that we have here is going to be the victim's basement gameplay.
So one of the first changes that y'all are going to be able to see is that victims are now going to start off with a 60-second cooldown on their abilities at the start of a match.
So there you have it, a 60-second cooldown on abilities for victims in the basement. It sounds like this change is happening because of the new gameplay that's going to be happening with Leatherface no longer required. This entire stream, you can tell that a lot of these changes are here to promote a more stealth-based gameplay. So a lot of these changes will reflect that. Now, how do I feel about the 60-second cooldown? To be honest, I'm not too sure. I need to see it in action first. There's a lot of questions here. My biggest thing here that I think that they're driving for is the risk now with rushing. Because if Leatherface is in the game and you rush, you no longer have Leland's tackle. You no longer have Anna's ability to tank hits. Julie can't run away faster. Sunny can't track the victims. So if you push fast in the beginning and Leatherface is there, that risk is super high. If you get caught early game, that's gonna be pretty bad news, which will in turn promote more stealth, slower gameplay. And ideally, if you push fast enough and you're upstairs out of the basement and you don't have your abilities, it's still going to promote a slower gameplay because that risk of getting caught early is pretty scary. Again, stacking onto the stealth gameplay, we have a change coming to the noise ping in the game.
To the next point that I've got to make, and it's that noise is now going to start to follow victims for a few seconds. So when you are spamming that toolbox, when you're going through that bone pile, when you're running through bone charms, if you set off a nugget,
there you go,
you slam a door, those noise pings will follow you for a little bit.
This is a change that I actually think is really cool, especially when you have that Leland who's spamming the toolbox and then runs off and slams the door. Now Leatherface can turn him into some chicken tenders while I'm over here using my stealth and my shadows to escape. But listen, I have some heartbreaking news for you. Are you sitting down? This teabagging is no more. Well, at least at exit gate.
The next thing I have on the docket is that we're actually going to be changing the position of detection at escape gates. So what this means is that once a player has crossed the gate, it will now trigger as they've escaped. This change is to kind of help prevent players from being able to camp and teabag at exits from outside of the gate. We're looking at you, Slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
Now this change I think makes sense and I'm okay with it. The only thing that comes to question is obviously the perk Rubber Boots. Is that going to be changed or is it useless? As well as the family house road escape. How much are you cozy in there? Because there's a lot of space over there. And there's been many times that you've seen victims get caught right on the edge there. Personally, I've always loved that. It's very like cinematic when you're running down the driveway. You make it to the road. You know, you see the little armadillo, but you're out of stamina. You can't make it. Leatherface comes out of nowhere with an overhead chainsaw, ends your day. Like I love those moments. Side note, there's also some changes coming to Johnny.
Victims will now stop leaving footprints for Johnny to follow if they're moving at the slowest pace while crouching, which means if you're crouch walking, Johnny will no longer be able to see footsteps from you when he's using his tracking ability.
Well, and again, you know, just to contextualize a little bit, we talked about the change to the cook where he won't be able to hear you if you're crouched and you're moving slowly. So if you're crouched and you're moving at that walking pace, right? Mm-hmm. This kind of goes hand in hand with that.
But next up, we have some changes coming to the gas station map and the fuse escape.
Speaking of some changes, we're going to be making some improvements to gas station. We're now going to be changing where the fuse pickup locations are, so they're not going to spawn so close to the fuse box. And we're pretty excited to see how that's going to play out in gameplay now, just because sometimes they'd spawn pretty close to one another and it'd be not the way that we intended for that to play out.
This one made sense. Obviously, there's some crazy spawns of the fuse being literally steps away from the fuse box. But to all you Cook mains out there, there's some changes coming to your hearing ability.
The next thing, speaking of tuning, we're going to be talking about Cook in this next point. We're changing how his ability charge ticks down. So now the way that it's going to work is that it's going to tick down correctly while being actively used, as opposed to just honing in and focusing in on a victim. And this is to help with Cook's spamming ability, which we saw plenty of, speaking in the subreddit of the Cook has heard you, Cook has heard you. So we heard you.
Yeah.
So the way that I understand this is now, once you activate Cook ability instantly while you're in it, while you're searching and zoning around, it's slowly going to drain. Before, it seems like if you activated Cook's ability, it would only actually drain the ability bar once you zone in and highlight a victim. Listen, matches without Leatherface is one of the biggest changes coming to the game, and it's for sure going to rock the core gameplay. There's been a lot of questions about it, and they answered some of them.
You know, the situation with Leatherface, so just to say it plainly, because I know some people are going to go, but you didn't really answer me. To say it plainly, barricades are still going to be there. You know, you will get looped on barricades possibly. I mean, victims are trying not to die. That's going to happen. You're going to have to figure out ways around those barricades, like Hitchhiker Sissy. They can move through gaps and crawl spaces and things like that.
This I'm really happy to hear. I don't love the changes with Leatherface. I said that in the last video. I don't love it. But if you're going to do it, I understand why. And I think what they're going for here is some sort of reverse psychology. You know, if you don't have Leatherface, you'll see how much you need him. So that will get players to play him, I think. Or maybe there is some new meta out there. Sissy, Hitchhiker, and Cook might just be the dream team and that we never knew about. So we'll see that. But either way, removing barricades promotes no Leatherface. And that's what I think we should not move toward. Leatherface should have a reason to be in the game. And that's why I'm happy, if they're going to do these changes at all, I'm happy that they're going to keep barricades in the game. But like I said at the beginning of the video, they confirmed the release date.
We have a date for the patch. I'm going to let Sid give this good news.
November 28th.
Yeah.
Mark it in your calendars.
November 28th, we have the patch. We have content. We have all kinds of fun stuff. We also have our patch notes coming just before the 28th. We'll be sharing, you know, basically the full list of 250 fixes. And like I said, that's kind of a doozy. It's going to take a little doing.
So there you have it. November 28th is the release date. They do go on to say that on November 28th, we will have the big patch, which is over 250 fixes. We will have the new DLC content, which is the victim, Danny, the family member, Nancy. This is the first stream where they actually use those names. They go on to say that the new map's name is Nancy's house, as well as the characters will be coming with their own skill trees, unique abilities, and perks. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is all the changes coming November 28th, the big patch, the content drop. Could not be more excited, but let me know what you think down below. There's some changes that you don't like, that you do like, you should have seen, that should have been there. Let's talk about it in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe with notifications set to all so you don't miss out on more TCM videos. And don't forget to slash the like button, join Slasher Game for as low as $1. It supports the channel, helps keep the lights on. Until then, remember to follow the rules. Don't do drugs, don't have sex. No, yeah, don't die.
Got darker days in this grind, yeah. Never pay no mind to what I hate to say. Criticize myself more than anybody anyway. Living dreams, but these nightmares keeping me awake. Demons whisper in the dark, telling me it's a mistake to have faith in my own grind. But I got power over my own mind. I feel like Dr. Strange, yeah.